Hello, hello, hello. Good morning, Atlanta. Thank you so much for joining me for Daily Spark with Dr. Angela. I'm your host, Dr. Angela Chester, where we enlighten, inspire, and empower you to become your best self. Scripture reminds us that the tongue is a small thing that makes grand speeches, but a tiny spark can set a great forest on fire. And that's what I want to do with you today. We have a treat of an author interview today. We are talking how to make yourself aware of your worth in Christ with author Yvonne Poché. Now, she is of the Poché way, and of course, she is from the SoCal area of the Inland Empire. Now, as a Southern California native, she has been an avid writer most of her life. Beginning as a small child, she was always recognized for her writing abilities. As Yvonne grew older and deepened her relationship with the Lord, he showed her that her writings were a gift and that she needed to share what she had been blessed with the world. Yvonne's passion is helping young women discover that they are beautiful and that God has a unique plan designed for each of them. Yvonne is currently employed at a nonprofit agency and she's an online mentor as well as a student. When not writing, you can catch Yvonne spending time with her family. She would like to challenge everyday topics and share the word of God, which is the truth, to build, strengthen, and encourage. Because when you know better, you do better. And I like that statement. So let's go on and bring Yvonne on. Hello, hello. Thank you so much for joining me on the show today.
Hello, hello. How are you?
Thank you so much for being here. And I am really excited. I love having fellow authors on the show, because there's nothing like spotlighting, the work that we do, but also just sharing our process, because each one of us has a different process. Each one of us has a positive outcome. So it's wonderful to always hear the backstory. Now, I am a native Virginian that happens to live in Southern California. I know that you are currently in the Inland Empire, but are you also from California? Where were you born?
Yes, I was born in Pasadena, California. I love Southern California. I will be here for the rest of my life.
Yes, I think those who visit totally and completely understand. And like I said, listeners, I've been everywhere, and there's always something to enjoy every place you are. But everyone always, and Yvonne, you know this, everyone always talks about the weather and just how beautiful that you can't shake a stick at California weather.
Yes.
You really cannot. And it doesn't matter if you are, by the beach, like my office is, or I lived in downtown Long Beach. If you're at the beach, or if you're in the valley, or if you're, in the more mountainous, or even in the desert, people love Palm Springs and all of that. So you kind of find where you fit in and you make it happen.
Yes, absolutely.
I can understand that. Now, as an author, what prompted you to begin writing? Or is being an author, the title of it, I want to be an author, is that something that you said consciously, or did you find that you just had a passion for writing?
Actually, I found I had a passion for it. I would write when I would go through, like, hard circumstances or hardships or family issues. Writing was my outlet. So as I got older and, like in my bio, deep in my relationship with God, he started to show me that my writing will encourage, it will set people free and help people. And I love people, so my desire is to help. So I saw what better way to do it than through my writing, which is medication.
Now, when people read your books, Is it, and we'll have you talk about all of the titles that you have available because, if you have more than one, I want the world to know that you have more than one. That is just
Okay.
more, that is more exposure for the author, and that is a wonderful thing. But with the
Okay.
books that you've written, are
Mhm.
they meant to stand alone, or are they meant to be like a larger collection of books?
They're going to be a larger collection, definitely, because I read them in different seasons in my life. So
Mhm.
I currently published 3, but there are definitely more to come. I'm just trying
Mhm.
to push the first 3 first, but
Right.
definitely larger.
Yes, yes, I love that. So what can the people who purchase the books, what can they expect from the books that you've written?
You can expect truth. I wanted to self-publish my books because no one can tell my story better than I can.
Mhm.
So in saying that, they're gonna see me, and they're
Mhm.
gonna hear truth, and everything is practical where they can practice it in everyday life to become their best them.
Mhm. 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 And I love it when and I know that so many people are out there saying everyone says, for your best self, and it
Mhm.
is a line that we're all familiar with, but I found that most people that actually use that line really
Mhm.
are trying to help enlighten people or help empower people or give a voice to someone who's not sure about how to express themselves or how to articulate themselves. And I think that
Mhm.
writing is a great way to allow people to
Yes.
kind of follow you along on your path.
Absolutely.
There is nothing like a good book. I mean, I love movies, don't get me wrong, but a good book, man, with your
Yes.
imagination and the imagination of the author, it is a beautiful thing.
Yes.
Now, you mentioned that you have 3 books. Can you tell
Mhm.
us a little bit about each of them?
Yes. The first one is called Lies the Devil Tells. Now, I know everyone that experienced some point in life where they're fed with negative lies from the enemy. So
Mm-hmm.
God gave me where, since we all should know to go to the Word to assist us, well, some of us don't know. That's okay, because lies of the devil tells will help you. So it's every lie that was ever spoken to me in my life. What I did was I went to the Word of God and sought the truth to combat that lie. And so I
Mm-hmm.
put it in book form, which is similar to like a workbook or a journal, so that
Okay.
there's space so if whatever lie he's told them, they can look up the scripture as well, so
Mm-hmm.
they know how to fight. Because I feel
Mm-hmm.
sometimes we're fed lies and we accept them. So with this, they know, like, no, there is a way out. I can combat that with truth, and the truth
Mm-hmm.
will, what? Set you free.
That's right. I love that. I love that. How you said that it's kind of like a workbook.
Mhm.
And if they're going through something, and especially for people that maybe aren't as familiar
Mhm.
or they've forgotten even a particular
Yes.
scripture, they're able to use your book. I love that. That is truly a resource.
Yes. And then the second is beautiful, because I have a daughter, and God forbid if she grows up and not knows how her worth or how beautiful she is.
Mhm.
So God had me write another book just about women's beauty, because I did an exercise at my local mall, and I
Mhm.
wrote little beautiful cards, and it saddened me how women were stunned that I was calling them beautiful, because a lot of them, they don't know, and they were from ages all around 19, 60, 5. Like, they weren't being told that they were beautiful, and I had an issue with that, because
Mhm.
we're women. We should know our worth, and a lot of people aren't. A lot of women aren't told that they are beautiful. So the second
Mhm.
was beautiful is to help them to see that, yes, just like men, they have a purpose. Just like men, they have a plan. Just like
Mhm.
men, they are worthy to be called beautiful. They don't have to compete with the next woman, because God made them who they are.
Right. boy, am I glad that you reminded our beautiful women out there that they're not in competition with anyone else, that they are
Mhm.
independently beautiful. Thank you
Yes.
for
You're
saying
very
that, because
welcome.
we really need to remind, um, and we tend to think that we always need to remind our daughters, meaning like maybe the
Mhm.
teenagers or the young ones. But there's
Everyone.
there's an adult woman out there that is just as bruised, that
Mhm.
that wasn't told, and she
Yes.
and she needs to be reminded as well. Thank you so much for doing that.
You're welcome. And my last one is my baby. It's A Mother's Grieving Heart, and it's my miscarriage story. I suffered, I believe it was 7 or 8. I always get mixed up on the number. But I suffered 7 or 8 miscarriages um, through no fault of my own, because I'm perfectly healthy, but I was with the wrong person, and that just did not work out. But I found that a lot of people, when you brought up the topic of miscarriage, they shunned away from it because they didn't know how to deal with it, or they didn't know what to say. So some people didn't say anything, or some people didn't know what to say. So it's a book on my miscarriage journey and what helped me along the way, and what like encouraging words someone who knows someone that has experienced a miscarriage can offer
Mhm.
someone.
Mhm. And that is so true. People, I don't think we've ever really had like a class,
Mhm.
in what
Mhm.
to say, because
Yeah.
there's no physical person, like
Yes.
there's no memorial service, or there's no funeral, there's
Mhm.
no wake to attend for you to collectively grieve. And I do
Yeah.
think that people do shy away. They just,
Mhm.
oh, well, I'll just leave her alone. I'll just
Yes.
let her, when she feels better, she'll call me, and then we'll
Mhm.
go out to dinner.
Exactly.
Or you don't say anything at all, and boy, that probably sends the wrong message, because that's
Very
not
much
your
so.
intention.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah, I can imagine. That sounds like it would be a very, very good read for women in general,
Mhm.
because we need to know how should we react, how should we behave. um
Exactly.
it made me think about Gabrielle Union. Just
Mhm.
recently was talking about the fact that she had numerous, I can't even say several, numerous
Mhm.
miscarriages. I believe it was more than 5. And
Wow.
what they were going through, and how that made her feel. And
Mhm.
my heart just hurt for her, as a
Yeah.
mother. I
Mhm.
know the joy of it, and I can't imagine, what they must be going through. So
Yes.
that's awesome book. Thank you for sharing that as well. Well, it
Thank
is
you.
almost time for us to go to break, and I want to make sure that people know, not only where you are, but where can we find your books? Where can everyone purchase your books? And then where can people find you, like on social media and all of that?
Right now, my books are only on Amazon. I'm working on getting them out globally. So right now, if you go to Amazon.com, you'll just type in my name. It's Yvonne with a Y, V like Victor, O, N like Nancy, N like Nancy, E. Last name Poché, P like Paul, O-C-H like Harry, E. Type me in and you'll see all 3 of my books. And then for social media, for some reason that is not working at the moment for me. So you can email me at www.thepocheway@gmail.com.
Alrighty, listeners, you know where to go, to the Poche Way. We'll be back right after this. And we are back. Thank you so much for joining me for Daily Spark with Dr. Angela. My name is Dr. Angela Chester, and today we are talking about making yourself aware of your self worth in Christ, the challenging everyday topics, and sharing the Word of God, which is truth, to build, strengthen, and encourage, because when we know better, we do better. Those aren't my words. Those are the words of our guest today, author Yvonne Poché, and she is the author of several books that we are talking about right now, and each one of them is such a wonderful topic. And ladies, you really need to tune in because there may be a book that not only is right for you, but maybe a perfect gift to give to one of your friends. So, Yvonne, let me ask you this. What is your inspiration behind your writing? Do you have something that really motivates you, or how does that come about?
My inspiration is women. I love seeing women learn and grow. Like, I love women empowerment. I love just seeing a woman that knows a healthy relationship. She's confident in herself. She can hold her head up high. She walks with that extra oomph in her step. Like, I love women because if they're the best them, they can just succeed in everything. And so I feel it's my duty and my job to help in that area.
Now, and it's so wonderful when we have someone who wants to empower women, that we understand that women understand women a certain way. Not saying that, men folk don't understand us, but we have the same experiences many times, or we have the same reactions to things many times, and we have an unspoken language the same way that our guys kind of have an unspoken language with their bros. We're able to just kind of look at each other and get it, and just understand what that means. So when you chose to write on your topics, when you chose to write each one of your books, was it easy to share? And I know that you mentioned it, briefly in the last segment, but was it easy to share? And how much did you decide to share? Like, I put it all in the book, or I gave you guys about half because that's all you can take right now, and the rest is coming in another book. Hint, 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 or something like that.
No, actually, I gave it my all because I am a big person on truth. So if I'm writing a book, it's going to be truth, and I'm going to give you my all. Very vulnerable. So at first, yes, that was scary, but I have to look at the bigger picture of who it's going to help and the hands that it may fall into. So I need to be transparent, just like I would love for someone to do the same with me. So I have to be transparent to get the true message out.
And I love how you say that you've given your all. I absolutely love that. And I think that people can really pick that up in the book too, that they don't feel slighted, you know, or because you can even tell that in a movie. It's like, oh man, they're setting it up for the next one. Just give it to me now. Just tell me the truth. So I can understand that. I can understand that. Now, I know that we use this word very, very loosely, but and please forgive me for choosing this particular word because I know it's a little bit cliche. But what is your writing kryptonite? Like, what really just brings you to your knees when it comes to your writing?
Well, I don't like when editing and someone changes my words where it sounds completely different than how I would say something. That absolutely gets under my skin because I feel like I tell my story the best way. So I expect my editor to know that, or know, like, okay, if this Yvonne, she's going to say it this way or that way, not completely different where I'm sounding like Diana. So that's so difficult when my words are absolutely turned.
Gotcha. I can understand that. And it's really interesting how sometimes our words can get a little misconstrued, or just totally and completely taken out of context. And it's interesting because the times where you may be thinking many times, wow, I said that, and I hope they understood what I meant. It hardly ever gets taken out of context. But but then it seems like when you thought that you were very explicit, very clear, they kind of pick and choose. And it's like, no, that's not what I said at all. Like, what are you doing? How did you get that from what I said? That's true. That's crazy. And I often go, I have no idea what they were listening to. It's crazy. It's crazy. As a younger writer, or as a younger person, because I know that you said that you've been writing for, just about all of your life, that you've really you've been a journaler. Was there ever an experience, one or two, or a particular moment when you realized that language had power, that our words really meant something? Did you have an experience like that ever?
Yes, I would say for the miscarriage story, I was told all kinds of hurtful things which began to plague my mind. And then I would say, I can't say something rose up in me, because I know God rose up in me. He said, no, we're not going to accept that, for you are your life. One day you want to bear children again. So I'm going to help you to speak that into existence. I'm going to give you dreams for that to come to pass. So that is what helped me, the God rising up in me, not to accept what was being said about me.
It's really wonderful how God has his way of working in our lives, and really directing us, and just putting the right thing in the right place at the right time to be able to allow us to go on and move through this thing called our life. It is absolutely amazing. Now, kind of shifting gears just a little bit, everybody wants to be successful, regardless of what they do. I want to be a singer, you want to be a teacher, an engineer, doesn't matter. You want to be the best at what you do. So with that being said, what does literary success look like to you?
To me, literary success means touching the lives of maybe one person, a household, 50 million people, just walking in my purpose, which is right now in writing, and my writing falling into the right hands to be a blessing to that person's life.
So being a blessing is what success looks like for you. Did I understand that correctly?
Yes, absolutely.
And it's really funny how many times we'll learn in church that it is better to give than to receive. And I don't think that people, when they say that, many times they're just kind of giving lip service. And until they really realize that people that are truly successful have given so much more away. And I don't necessarily mean that just in the dollars and cents, but just in their time, in their knowledge, in their resources, in the love of the cause as a whole, that they have just shared and given so much with everyone. And it really does make a difference. Now, do you view, when you're writing, and many people have a different experience. Some people like to go and shut themselves up in their room, or some people kind of go on a retreat, or almost like a sabbatical. When you're writing, would you consider your writing like a spiritual experience for you, where you just God just gives you this download and you just simply write? Or is it more so you're having maybe conversation with yourself? What is the process for you, and what would you call it?
Usually it's all those in a mixture. First, before I write, I always pray, because I never want to give a personal opinion or just put anything that I think may sound right or I think may help. it has to be God-inspired. So if I don't hear anything, I won't write anything. So I like to go to my room in my quiet place with my laptop and just basically like, Lord, use me. Is it time? Or I may be talking to someone and they say something that resonates in my mind, and then God will give me a title. So it's really a mixture. So it's based on really when he wants me to write and what does he want me to say. But like I said, I'm not going to write anything that, because it still all boils down to truth. I don't want to just make up anything and sell it.
Right. I love that. Did you guys hear? She says, I don't want to make up something and just sell it. Boy, do I love that. I love that. It is so refreshing to hear someone say, I want to write the truth. Now, I'm not accusing anyone else of lying or anything like that. It's just she wants to write her truth. And I love that because it makes the story much more authentic. It makes it much more genuine, and it really makes it heartfelt. Like you can hear, and I'm not trying to be corny here, but when someone's writing their story, you want to cry with them when they're crying. You want to laugh with them when they're laughing. You want to celebrate with them when they're celebrating because you feel the emotion in the story, and you go, gosh, that was such a good book. And there's really, truly nothing like having that experience with a really good book. If you have not, listeners, if you guys have not read a really good book in your life, if you have not read a book that you went, what, to while you were reading it, or, you know, your husband or your friends are going, what's wrong? And it's like, I'm reading this book. Then you have truly missed out because there is such a joy in reading such a good book. Now, I'm not plugging anybody else's books. What I am saying, though, is that you need to pick up some of one, because she has 3 right now, one of Yvonne's books, and it will definitely change either your life or the life of someone that you know. Now, it's almost time for us to go to a break. Yvonne, if you would please, again, let our listeners know where can they pick up a copy of your book, and where can we reach you on the internet?
Okay, right now my books are being sold on Amazon.com. All you have to do is type in my name, Y, V like Victor, O, N like Nancy, N like Nancy, E, Poché, P like Paul, O-C-H like Harry, E. And then you can reach me by email, www.thepocheway@gmail.com.
All righty, listeners, don't you move a muscle. We'll be back right after this. And we are back. Thank you so much for joining me for Daily Spark with Dr. Angela. I'm your host, Dr. Angela Chester. Today I am speaking with author Yvonne Poché, and we are talking about her books, but we're also talking about finding your self-worth in Christ. So many times we forget that we have this value, no matter if someone else sees it or if anyone else reminds us of it. God has given us a value, so therefore it is that we are valuable, and it is true, and there's nothing anyone can say about it. So Yvonne has written 3 different books, and she's sharing with us about all of them and how they have not only changed her life, but how they are helping to change the lives of those who purchase and read them. So, Yvonne, let me ask you some questions that's really dealing with being an author and kind of putting your author cap on. With that being said, when you're writing, do you find that it energizes you or does it exhaust you?
It energizes me because I'm like, oh, this is going to help someone. Oh, this is going to bring life. Oh, this is going to encourage and strengthen. So it very much so energizes me because I know it's going to be a blessing. Yes. It rocks my world.
Now, are you the type of writer that we can, we picture this very old, kind of an old stereotype though, but do you have all of these crumpled up sheets of paper around you and, a pot of coffee and music playing in the background? Or do you find that you're more of a, you just want your vibe the way you want it for that particular day? Sometimes it might be music, no music, sunshine, no sunshine. Is there a particular atmosphere that you need to have created in order to write?
I just like it quiet, and I like to be in the room in like the right-hand corner by a chair. That's where I go, and I sit on the floor with my laptop, and I'm sitting Indian style. And then if I crumble something up, I throw it in the trash. And then I drink water, so I don't drink coffee. But I guess it's new age.
She's like, no coffee for me. And it's so funny because, every writer really and truly has their thing, has their way of how they need to do it or how they want to do it,
Mm-hmm.
In one of my books, in the little portion where you thank everyone and you do your dedications and all of that, and I said, I am so grateful for my husband and the many cups of coffee that you brought me, and people laugh at that, but I was like, it was really, really important for me because I'm a coffee drinker, and just having that nice warm cup of coffee next to me just soothed my soul. So he's like, here's some more coffee, honey. I was like, thank you. Aren't you a dear? So it's just whatever works, It could be lemon water. It could be tea, whatever it is, whatever you need to have. I think that really and truly does help, Well, if you could, and I know everyone always asks this question of their authors, but it really helps us kind of get to know you a little bit better. And that is, if you could tell your younger writing self, your teenage self, or even maybe your very younger self about writing, if you could tell your younger writing self anything, what would that be?
I would say don't be afraid. I have sisters, and I'm the oldest, but I've always been the shyest. So my sisters and I, we would sing, and I'd hide and sing in the background because I was fearful of being in the forefront. So I was actually at church one Sunday, and I was called up, and a prophetic word went forth that you would no longer be in the forefront. So I was like, oh, man. So I had to push myself. But now being in the forefront is not as scary as I thought it was. So just don't be afraid, because if God purposes for you to do something, he's going to help you to do it. So I had to realize that and not be so scary.
Oh, that I can imagine. It's like, oh no, but again, we just move the way that we're supposed to move, and it ends up working out well. It's so crazy. Well, the next question I have for you is, what is one thing that you would give up to become a better writer?
Well, I would give up my job because then I can focus on just writing and selling books and helping the world.
Okay. I got it. I love it. It comes out. It just kind of just oozes out of you. It's like you really and truly we want to make it better. We really and truly just want to make it better.
Absolutely.
And it's amazing that people don't understand that, but when it really is the heart of who you are, then it's like, I hate that I have to keep telling you the same answer, but it's like, I'm really just trying to help the world. I really just want the world to be a better place. And it's like, that is my heart's desire, to just make sure that everyone is in the best place that they can be.
Absolutely.
It's not a fake or a funny, a pretend kind of place, but what can I do to help you? Just be your best self. I get that. Now, I know that as a therapist, I'm always encouraging people that when they're doing something of importance, no matter what that is, that they should always have a support group. Now, many times we think the word support group and we think only illness, or we think that someone is trying to get over addiction. But that's not the case. Having a support group or having a team of people that are there to encourage you is important in no matter what you're doing. So my question for you is, are there any family members in particular that you consider a part of your support group? And without sharing, anything that's too personal or anything, but how did they make a difference in your life while you're writing, especially?
Through their prayers, before I started, my fiance, he prayed with me. He made sure to call me, to pray for me, to set my nerves at ease, and that's what I need to know, that people are praying for me. My sister, who's also my second best friend, she prays for me as well. She'll encourage me, and just the great thoughts of my parents, and just knowing that they are praying for me. They'll buy my books. They'll offer to read and let me know, their opinion on my books, or make reviews about them. They're very honest as well. So I get the honest truth from them to know what will work, what doesn't work. So I would say my family and my friends, like my coworker, they are I have a great support system. I have a great support team. I just love them.
And it really and truly does make a difference. So if there's someone listening and they're saying, well, all I do is that whatever you do after the is probably so important to the person that you're doing it for, to, or with. People don't understand how important, like you said, I need it quiet. So if there's a boyfriend, a fiance, a husband out there, if your wife is an author and she's writing, how helpful it is and how key it is to maybe take the little kids, especially, the little toddlers, the little ones, take them to the park, or take them outside for a little while, or even take them over grandma's house or something like that, so that the house can be quiet. And it's like, well, babe, maybe I can't give you, all day, but maybe I can give you an hour or two of just complete quiet, so that your mind can do whatever needs to be done. My kids are older. Well, they're not even kids, really. They're teenagers now, so I didn't have to worry about the tiny little ones kind of going around. I just kind of made a declaration. I'm writing now. I'm closing the door. I love you all. And it was leave mom alone, for a little while. Sometimes it stopped them, sometimes it didn't. But they really and truly, it really was important and encouraging when they're there and they see you,
Yes.
One of my boys, I remember when I got the first copy of my book, and he says, Mom, you're famous now. And he was little. He was maybe maybe not too little, but he was around 10 or so. And I went, oh, yeah, huh? And I didn't want to say, baby, I am not famous yet. But it was so nice, and it was so encouraging, because for him, it was really a proud moment, Like, my mom wrote a book. Wow, check this out. So you guys, family members, you are, like she said, you are such a big part of our support team.
Yes.
Encouraging us and keeping us going really and truly is important. Now, writing books, people have this idea that sometimes you can crank it out in a day. Some people think that it takes 2 years. The process for you, about how long, on average, does it take for you to write a book?
It depends, because like I said earlier, I do pray before I write. So let's see, the first one I did, Lies the Devil Tells, that took me all summer. Beautiful took me, I would say, 6 to 8 months, because these are the workbooks or journals. A Mother's Grieving Heart, that took me about 2 years. Some of that was fear. And then just having it reviewed, and I got people's opinions and allowed people to read it and to give me their feedback. So I would say it depends on the project and then what all God has given me.
Right. So it really and truly, I like how you said there, and even though you didn't say this verbatim, but I like how you said that it really and truly depends, that some are a little quicker, some are a little bit slower, and I like how you eased in there that there was a little bit of fear in one of them. So there was a little bit of added procrastination. You typed really slow, or you didn't get to it that day, and all of that, and that is so honest, and that's open, and thank you for sharing that, because I know there's somebody out there going, yep, that's me. And it's go on and step out in faith and do write the book, do what you're supposed to do, and share with someone, because someone needs to read your story. You have no idea how you can help someone. And especially the last one again, you said A Mother's Prayer. What was the name of that one?
A Mother's Grieving Heart.
A Mother's Grieving Heart. A Mother's Grieving Heart. I really and truly think that can really help so many women out there, that it's something special. I have so many clients, and I say that because I have so many clients that come and they're trying to keep their marriages together because this has happened, and they don't know how to talk about it. They don't know how to feel about it. And mom is feeling one way, husband is feeling a different way. The in-laws are feeling their own way, and there's just no right or wrong way to feel at any given moment, because we all grieve differently. So I do think that is such a wonderful book, that I think that if that's something that has hit home to you listeners, please be sure to pick that one up, especially because it's a topic that really does not get talked about very often. Now, I know that folks say that there's a thing called writer's block. Now, Yvonne, do you believe that there's something called writer's block? Why or why not?
No, I don't believe in that, because I feel the only thing that needs to be blocked is the devil. I'm just kidding. I feel like if I'm putting God first and He's releasing me to write, He's not going to block His own work. So, no, I don't believe in it.
Okay, I got that. I like that answer. She's like, nothing is getting blocked over here. It is flowing through me. I love that. I love that. And our last question, and this is not a serious question. I just randomly pulled this one out the bag, and that is, and I've heard two different trains of thought. This has nothing to do with writing. This is just, like I said, this is just a goofy question. Do you Google yourself?
Yes, I do.
I love it. Yes, I love it. And everyone that I've asked that question to, everyone always pauses and then they answer, and I just fall out laughing, because so do I. So it's like, don't feel bad. I have heard of celebrities that have answered that question, and they're like, yes, I Google myself. I want to know what everyone is saying. Why would I not Google myself? So we have to do that. And it is a wonderful check just to see, what is the vibe that's going on? What are people saying about your products? And I think it's really important that you stay current with your brand, and that you make sure that brand is really reflected in the light in which you want it to be shown. I totally get it. I totally get it. Well, Miss Yvonne, thank you so much for spending time with me today. I have really enjoyed this interview with you. Thank you so much for being on the show.
Thank you for your time, and thank you, everyone, for listening.
For one last time before we end the show, please remind everyone, where are you on the internet? How can we get in contact with you and purchase your books?
You can purchase me on Amazon.com. You just type in Yvonne Poché. That's spelled with a Y, V like Victor, O, N like Nancy, N like Nancy, E. Poché, P like Paul, O-C, H like Harry, E. Just type me up, and all three of my books will pop up. Or you can reach me by email, www.thepocheway@gmail.com.
Thank you again for being on the show, Yvonne.
Thank you.
Listeners, thank you for joining me for Daily Spark with Dr. Angela. I hope that I have inspired, enlightened, and empowered you today. May the Lord continue to shine His face upon you. May you receive His grace and mercy in all that you do. Until next week, everyone, remember to shine your light. Bye-bye.